never really talk about polishing the heart. We never talk about the spirit of a person. We really focus on very external behavior. What the Ghazali Project talks about and deals with is educating the spirit, educating the heart, educating the entire individual.
Growing up, I learned all the external things which were very fear-based. Learning the religion through Imam Ghazali's work has given me that deeper meaning of the religion.
Education and tarbiyah are two very different things. Tarbiyah is about providing human beings with the maintenance of their innate goodness, which is from the fitrah.
Reconciling this split between knowledge with character building, ta'aleem and tarbiyah.
Emotional intelligence, which comes to the heart, spiritualizing action. The Ghazali Project speaks directly to that.
Personally, it's changed my dynamic and my relationship with my children. It gives us a language to communicate.
So that's pretty much why I'm addicted to the series. They're not like a torture workbook. They're not like that homework that your teacher assigns you every day. They're actually really fun.
I liked the most when we were doing about the hearts, and because I could learn more about shining my heart.
By really showing their golden hearts, that concept has just blossomed into a whole school culture. The wudu time and the wudu experience has transformed. The prayer experience has completely transformed.
I've seen the transformation in our own curriculum and in our own outcomes. Our kids are excited to go to class. It's just amazing listening to them talk about who God is and what God made.
To be raised soaking in the spirituality behind all of the rituals and the acts of belief. We want to teach them how to pray, and we want them to love the prayer.
It's also about you embodying that. I have to live that in order to teach that as well.
Ghazali, as a basic theme, and his great work, The Revival of the Religious Sciences, is one of the most important literary, cultural, religious projects that one could imagine in the 21st century.
I think anybody who will use this work will see the difference in their child.
The Ghazali Children's Project seeks to educate children spiritually and transform their characters by showing how the outer aspects of Islam can, through their inner spiritually transformative meanings, change every situation into one that strengthens their innate human nobility of character. The project aims to help support entire communities of Muslim parents, teachers, and children in realizing how to live by and embody the noble prophetic character through self-observation and correction. Children draw their own golden hearts, adding dots representing what they wish to correct.
And washing the dishes.
This series aims to provide authentic, quality guidance through Ghazali's systematic approach for developing virtuous character. The project is overseen and supported by a team of internationally recognized Ghazali scholars. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said, "I only came to teach good character."
Children by nature believe in the unseen world because they've just come out of it. They're much closer to it than we are. Babies, according to Sidi Abdul Aziz al-Dabbagh, are conversing with angels. So I think it's very easy for a child to be nurtured spiritually because they are essentially spiritual beings.
Imam al-Ghazali talks about the soul of the child as being a precious, uncut jewel like a diamond. There needs to be a cutting, a disciplining, a refinement, not to suppress what it truly is, but to bring to the surface the luminosity that it's been brought with, that it's been born with, which is the heritage of all humanity, the recollection of the primordial covenant, which is what we are really about.
Siempre un mensaje sobre material, ¿no? De tecnología, de mucho pensar en esta vida de la dunya y no tener ninguna referencia, ninguna inquietud, ni ninguna puerta para abrir esas llaves del conocimiento, y no es otra que el conocimiento de lo interno, que es lo más importante.
In terms of the entertaining captivatingness of what media and culture can be, nothing compares with Hollywood and the products of the capitalistic marketing system. And that's very dangerous and very entrancing. There's a kind of vertiginous power that it has over young people.
A couple of years ago, I did a little research project around the available Islamic studies curriculum programs, and I was really disappointed to see the variety of issues that are challenging us today in the curriculum department.
One of the things that I see in youth right now in this day and age is very easy to kill the love for knowledge.
How?
Because, well, I mean, curriculums that are unimaginative, programs that are not designed to help them think.
Education tends to be associated in the modern context with basically the imparting of information that will have utilitarian value in adult life. And increasingly today is divorced from morality, from cosmology, from metaphysics, from a deeper sense of human purpose and from contemplation.
Reconciling this split and this divide that we have between ta'aleem and tarbiyah, that reconnecting the knowledge with the practice, reconnecting knowledge with character building, reconnecting, and that's what knowledge is.
To give the children a good tarbiyah from the beginning. To raise a child, you cannot just wait until the age of puberty and then you start correcting the child. It has to start at the beginning.
So education and tarbiyah are two very different things. Tarbiyah is about providing human beings with the maintenance of their innate goodness, which is from the fitrah and the day of Am I not your Lord, primordial covenant.
My life has been intertwined with Imam al-Ghazali's writings for many decades. Imam al-Ghazali, rahimahullah, is very, very influential. He revived the missing part, the spiritual part. Talks about the children as a microcosm of this universe, of our earth.
So when you say Ghazali's Ihya Ulumuddin, Ghazali's revival of the religious sciences, you really mean a synthesis of the first 5 centuries of Islamic thought. Ghazali brings together the different sciences of theology, law, ethics, scripture, and organizes them and elaborates upon his predecessors in a masterful and beautiful and accessible way. When you say Ghazali, it's really a one-stop shop for classical Islamic thought. And making that accessible for our children is a massive gift.
This idea somehow that he was a mystic without understanding the absolute importance of his intellectual contribution to Islamic civilization is beyond belief. He's actually the essence of orthodoxy in the Islamic tradition. And just to give you a few examples, he is a reviver in all 3 of the branches of Islam that the Prophet ﷺ identified in the Hadith Jibril. He revived Iman through his extraordinary work in theology. He revived fiqh, or the Islamic jurisprudence. He is arguably the greatest jurist that was ever produced by the Islamic civilization. And then finally, he's a renewer in ihsan. So he renewed all 3. He's the only one that has that distinction. In the history of Islam, you will find no other person. He was understood to be the mujaddid of the 6th century, and all the Muslims after that period saw that.
Ridding your heart of vices and adorning your heart with virtues. And each virtue that we adorn our heart with is a door that opens up between us and Allah Ta'ala of closeness. After learning what is in these 40 books and shedding everything that needs to be shed, by then that someone should be ready to meet Allah. Now this is accessible to children from the earliest ages. And what a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to have that. Previously, when they were in a society and would have learned many of these things, now we have to counteract that by going out of our way to teach them and to articulate them so that they can grow up with the correct conception of the religion from the beginning.
Spiritual, the ethical teachings of Imam al-Ghazali are essentially from our Prophet ﷺ. That those teachings can be readily understood if presented properly, as they have been in this series, to young people. And so I think I think anybody who will use this work will see the difference in their child.
This is an adaptation of Imam al-Ghazali's Ihya Ulumuddin, where the lessons and teachings about our religious requirements and also our internal state, how to really polish the mirror of the heart, are woven into lovely stories, storytelling about children and their family, their relationships with their parents and grandparents, with their teachers, and with others.
Fons Vitae, a publisher of classical Islamic texts, has undertaken the monumental task of translating and adapting the first 6 books so far of Ghazali's Revival of the Religious Sciences into a series for children and youth. Included in each book set are the original books in translation for parents and teachers. The adapted children's version includes a workbook, teachers' manuals, and a curriculum with many supportive activities. An interactive website effectively engages children with many resources, including downloadable books and comics, videos, and things to do. Kids film themselves play acting vices and virtues and post these on the website.
Mom's gonna be so mad at us. Oh, I have an idea. What? Let's just blame it on him. No.
Who broke that?
He did it. We lied. It was actually us who broke it. We were having a cartwheel contest.
Children love learning from other children.
Office. Goodbye. That was gross. You two girls have to go and say sorry.
We started with very few kids, but I had a vision for the school, and it was to make it something that was excellent and different from what was being delivered elsewhere, so that the kids came and had a buzz about being here, that they loved to be here, and they would go home wanting to come back the next week, that they would develop a love for their deen. There's no doubt that the Ghazali Children's Project has actually been transformational for our school. It's really helped the children have a deep and spiritual understanding of the key aspects of Islam.
We read through the chapters, see what we think are the key elements.
Yes.
Look
yes.
at the curriculum.
And then we'll look at the curriculum. We'll pick out the main points, and then we can use this Ghazali book, which is the workbook, and it connects.
And we also try and bring in as many personal stories as possible as well.
Yes.
Don't we?
Yes.
We try and tell a story about ourselves.
Yeah,
because then the children think it's not something abstract. It's something that you faced. I was angry. I did this. But the things that they remember are the things that they've drawn or seen.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, it's true experience.
Yes.
When they get actual experience, practical, visual. I think the children, we found out last year that the children really love the practical side of it. And we write it with the view to upgrade it for the older children.
Yes.
And to bring it lower to the level
For
of
the
the younger
English
children.
Yes.
I mean, there's no doubt that the kids of all ages benefit greatly from examples and stories, parables, and things that illustrate a key point, like the sand activity, where the kids had to hold some sand in their hand, and then the sand slipped through their fingers on the floor, and it was trying to illustrate the point that if you say something that hurts someone else, it's very difficult to take it back. The younger kids engaged with that really well.
Because you almost feel like in this class you're more in touch with your spirit, and you also said your inner self, because you are more your spirit, which is your inner self, aren't you? More than your outward self.
To be honest with you, the program is so rich, it's so vast. It's not something that has to be memorized, it's not something that has to be facts kind of poured into a child. It's more something that's absorbed simply by being present with the teacher. And so when the teacher is able to tell a story using her own words, her own voice, and get that message across, it's the most impactful.
When we get to teenagers essentially are just young adults. Let it be their own reflection, let it be their own lives. And that's why discussions and debates are cool, because you get to hear more from them.
It's really just fun. It's not like a boring book. It's really fun, and it teaches you stuff which you might not have known. And he teaches like stuff like how to do the wudu. The Hajj Abdullah talks about interesting topics. The children think of a lot of interesting stuff. So that's pretty much why I'm addicted to the series. Before I went, I cleaned my heart up. At first, I know just because I wanted to clean it up, but like I actually literally cleaned my heart up. It's now completely golden. It's sitting on my room wall, completely golden.
Oh, that's fantastic. It must feel good.
It does.
The really good thing that I think has come out of seeing the kids this year was to do some recap sessions on the work that they had already covered. And it was very easy to see how much they had learnt, and all of the aspects of the Ghazali Children's Project involving self-development and spiritual understanding was quite deep set in many children already.
Oh, I see, cried Bilal. What they are teaching us saves us. That special real learning saves us from wasting our lives and makes it possible for us to go to the heavenly garden.
Why did Imam al-Ghazali write a story about an ant? Excellent question, Abdullah. So let's try to see the hidden secret message sent to us in this story.
I feel as though Ramadan has that extra kick and that extra motivation as a human. You have that kind of urge to be the best person you can be.
You have the idea so that if you're watching a film with them, you can say, oh look, that little person is greedy. So you can use every moment in their daily lives to reinforce all of these ideas.
Ameen.
The second heart, however, is invisible and you cannot see it. This heart is a spiritual heart. Just like your physical heart, your spiritual heart needs great care and love.
May Allah bless us all and bless us knowledge. Ameen.
As a homeschooling mother, I'm extremely excited about the al-Ghazali Fons Vitae project because it's taking education beyond just teaching maths and history and science and geography, but developing our children holistically, appealing to their hearts.
It's really useful having the parents' meetings now as well, where we can discuss the books openly as a book club almost and go through each section. It's been very useful. We have a little section at home which we have all our Islamic books and we like to just read through together.
One of my daughter came home one day and she said, Mama, do you know what's wudu? And I say, what do you mean? I think I do. What is it about it? And she said, no, do you actually know how to do it? So then she started doing the wudu, and when she's doing it, she said, when you wash your hands, it's because you're asking also, you make dua and forgive everything that you did with your hands, same thing with your mouth, whatever you said the whole day. And you know that when you put the water in your head, you know what it is about? It's about all your thoughts and all of that. So I'm listening to her and I'm thinking, I actually never knew that, and I never make wudu like that. It's deeper because it go inside their heart and it touch their heart. And I think when it goes like that, there's nothing outside the world that can shake it.
I can only wish that I had this body of work that Aisha is doing now at the time when my children were young. I think it's really going to help the next generation.
It's also about you embodying that as well. So it's not okay, here are these theoretical concepts and let me go and teach that to my child. That's part of it, but you have to embody that yourself. So it's kind of like this back and forth process where it's like I'm teaching it to my child, but it also is directly impacting me as well because I have to live that in order to teach that as well.
Is it a chapter in a book that's going to work, or what they see mommy doing all the time?
Yeah.
So it's really a community change.
Yeah.
It really isn't just, it's not just telling children things in play school or Islamic school or regular school.
For the last 3.5 years, we've been on a search for a new curriculum
for our Islamic Studies program, and we never really found a fit that really aligned with our vision and our mission. The Ghazali project was perfect for us because we truly did want a curriculum that focused on having our students reflect and learn about themselves and learn about their hearts, and learn about God and loving the Prophet, peace be upon him. You know, this is the foundation of our curriculum here at Prairie Academy. It's just amazing listening to them talk about who God is and what God made, who we are, and how we were made. And you know, these are first graders, second graders, kindergartens, and so it's really fantastic. And you know, it's been an incredible journey so far. And as head of school, I've seen the transformation in our own curriculum and in our own outcomes. Our kids are excited to go to class.
I think for us to increase them in the love of knowledge and teach them the value of it initially is the most brilliant thing that we can do for them. When they understood that by seeking knowledge, the angels are coming down and the fish in the sea are making dua for them, and there's this concept of like knowledge being so sacred and so precious and so important, then I think they can seek knowledge anywhere. They can find information from anywhere.
It's about action, but also spiritualizing action. If we prepare them for the world of work, a key concept is emotional intelligence.
Because we had some gems, like some of our lessons were really amazing, and you realize it's not me or somebody else, there's something else involved. So.
It's true. In the lunch break, we're all going around looking at what the kids have done and what the teachers have planned, and we're always taking pictures, and there's a real atmosphere of, it's a lively atmosphere and there's a buzz about it, and it's something that's very special. And I think it reflects the barakah that's in this project, because it's the sincerity with which the books are written.
100%.
And it's also the sincerity with which the teachers deliver it, and the way in which the children receive it. The whole thing is just a beautiful thing. And to see all these kids of different ages take a key message every week, from the age of 4 until the age of 16, it's just amazing.
So if you could please show the video of the children's play acting.
Let's have a contest to see who can do the most cartwheels. Yeah!
The Ghazali Children's Project has been launched at schools, universities, and congresses worldwide. From Jakarta to Marrakesh, to Banjul, Gambia, and Bradford, England. And from Bosnia to South Africa, where a countrywide Ghazali festival was held with 16 workshops provided for parents and educators.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Wednesday live edition of Let's Talk with me, Julie Ali. Right now, a guest all the way from the USA, and she's here for the Al-Ghazali Festival, which is starting today, kicking off right here in Pretoria.
I was inspired by the way in which he was translating Ghazali, Imam Ghazali, from the esoteric to the grassroots. I looked at some of the children's books and I thought that we needed this here in Cape Town. Then maybe in this lies the answer to the deep concern that we were losing our identity, that we were losing our center, that we were losing who essentially we are.
If we establish this in Gambia, that will really help. Because I have many people who want to take their children to kindergarten, but they never find kindergarten like this one. But I never see a program like this in my career, I never see it. So when I saw this, I said, exactly this is the kind of program that we have to have in the kindergartens and nursery schools, so that they can really help the children to know exactly what they are doing.
We have the strong hope that the German-speaking community has with this a new tool, and a very unique tool. Children have to have this knowledge which is concerned about the human heart. Now we are at the stage that we nearly finished the first book, the Book of Knowledge.
The series is now being translated into 13 languages, including Bosnian, Russian, Norwegian, Malay, Thai, French, German, and Swedish.
It's such a simple and usable language. They get these images about the heart, about the afterlife and so on through the story of Hajj Abdullah. It really gave us the proper language to speak about quite complex things.
An Arabic version is underway in Lebanon, and Azhar University in Cairo has asked to translate the Book of Belief for children into Arabic for its vast school system. The Urdu version, which includes beautiful original illustrations, is being taught in rural Pakistani schools. A team of translators in Granada, Spain, are completing a Spanish edition.
Estamos al final de las traducciones de lengua española de estos libros y pronto, espero que después del verano podamos adelantar una primera edición en lengua española por la importancia no solamente de la lengua española, sino de la difusión que podemos tener a través de estos libros en el mundo, digamos, latino o latinoamericano.
More than 400 pilot schools have already been established in countries such as Kosovo, India, the United States, Canada, Dubai, the United Kingdom, Thailand, Australia, Bangladesh, and Egypt.
But we do lack a proper literature for our children, something that suits to their purity of nature, something that actually fits to their fitra, something that has beautiful pictures and beautiful messages. And this is how I came across al-Ghazali books. And we were thinking with my sister in Kosovo how wonderful would that be if we could have these books for our kids.
طلع البدر علينا من ثاني.
ये कहानी हमें याद दिलाती है इमाम गजाली की।
अगर हमारे घर कोई बादशाह या मलका है तो वो
Among the many schools in Pakistan using the system are Meme Academy and Satara.
Imam al-Ghazali was an Islamic scholar and used to give sermon in Nizamiya University at the age of 34. He traveled for 14 years and you want to know who is God.
The ladder of good deeds to heaven. इमाम गजाली के फरमान को मद्देनजर रखते हुए हमने ये जन्नत तक पहुंचने का
Take care of your colleagues.
Children from Singapore's Little Sahaba School send in brilliant art for the Ghazali Children's website.
And this is where I see a lot of value in the books that has been developed by the Al-Ghazali initiative. Wonderful, amazing work. I know there are families in Singapore who are using this book.
Really grateful that Prairie Academy had the opportunity to implement the Ghazali Children's Project. It's been phenomenal for the students, the staff, and the entire Prairie Academy community. To know that we have such a beautiful and authentic and true way of teaching our children about the nature of God and His existence and our beautiful religion, and to see them appreciate it through the prism of Imam al-Ghazali has really been a blessing for us all.
He was interested in destroying the idols of the ego. And that was the idol that he was engaged in dismantling and deconstructing. And in that way, he will continue to be relevant for all time.
Long term, I would like to incorporate some of the Ghazali teachings in our character education curriculum. We never really talk about polishing the heart. We never talk about the spirit of a person. What the Ghazali Project talks about and deals with is educating the spirit, educating the heart, educating the entire individual.
This project, for all of us, teachers, parents, or students, or young people, it allows us to reclaim and reconnect with our true nature, our original nature. Inshallah, I'm sure that this project will help all of us to do that, no matter what age or stage of development we're at.
And I am absolutely thrilled with the opportunity that avails our children today and our teachers and our parents with this Ghazali program. It is an opportunity for our children to start on the right path of belief, to start on the right path of principles, not to be raised in a vacuum of spirituality, but to be raised soaking in the spirituality behind all of the very, very important rituals and acts of belief that we want to teach our children. We want to teach them how to pray, and we want them to love the prayer.
Well, there's nothing like the Ghazali's children's project. It's unique, it's groundbreaking, and it's a treasure for our children. Personally, it's changed my dynamic and my relationship with my children. It gives us a language to communicate.
By really showing their golden hearts, that concept has just blossomed into a whole school culture. The wudu time and the wudu experience has transformed. The prayer experience has completely transformed. We see the students who are making their own adhan and coming calmly into the prayer space, sitting down, praying, staying focused. It's been a very, very transformative and beautiful experience.
I basically fell in love. I felt this is the appropriate language. This is very, very good for the children. It boosts their morale. It talks about the children as a microcosm of this universe. And I think we owe it to our children, to our grandchildren, to have these books at our homes and to share and to read with them.
The Hujjat al-Islam, the proof of Islam, is unmistakably and uncontroversially Imam al-Ghazali. Ghazali as a basic theme, and his great work, The Revival of the Religious Sciences, as the focus for our project, one of the most important literary, cultural, religious projects that one could imagine in the 21st century.
He is Hujjat al-Islam, he's the proof of Islam, he was always understood to be that. For me, I think after that first 3 generations, he's the single most important Muslim that ever lived.